शङ्करांश भूम शङ्करार्यपीठसद्गुरुन् शुद्धसत्त्वभासुरान् सुवर्त्मनीतभूसुरान् सर्वभूतसौख्यदान् क्षमाकरान् यतीश्वरान्।
शंकरार्याय धीमते अद्भुतशक्तये नमोस्तद्वैत सिद्धान्त स्थापनोत्पात्तमूर्तये श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः. So in the last class we had seen the 94th sloka. Upadanam prapanchasya buddhandasya iva katyate ajnanam chaiva vedantaihi tasmin nashte kva vishvata. So he is taken up the topic of refuting the common idea of prarabdha karma for a jnani. So he has started the discussion. So here he gives the example, just like the clay is the upadana karanam for the pot, and for the whole world, the upadana karanam on one hand is the ajnanam or maya or prakriti, and on the other hand it is Brahman. When the ajnanam is gone, then there is no world at all, because the upadana karanam of the world is said to be prakriti or maya, apart from Brahman. So when this ajnanam has gone, actually Brahman is also upadana karanam only because of the presence of ajnanam. When the ajnanam is not there, there is no need for jiva at all. That is, there is no jiva at all because there is no avidya at all. So there is no bondage. So there is no world at all. So when such is the case, world is not there. So since world is not at all there, when ajnanam is gone, there is no question of the prarabdha karma remaining. So this is the stand of this text. It is not that it is disregarding the common concept of prarabdha karma for jnani, which has been stated in the Prasthanatra Bhashya by Bhagavad-pada. But in this text, he goes further a little more to show that even the world creation itself is not real. So in such a case, the question of prarabdha doesn't exist at all. So that is the line of argument. So in this sloka 94, we have not completed the commentary fully. So there is something more left. So I'll just go back to all the two lines we had completed last time and then continue. Nanu dehadi prapanchasya yatova ityadi shrutehe satya brahma janyatvat katham pratibhasikatvam iti uchate upadanamiti. So when the question is, the Shruti very clearly says that Brahman is the cause from which the world has arisen, and Brahman is the one which sustains the world, and the world in dissolution attains to Brahman itself. So when the Brahman has been shown as the upadana karanam, how can you say that this world is a mere appearance? For that, the shloka says tatra atra karanam dvividam. So the explanation says there are two types of causes. One is nimitta karanam and another is upadana karanam. Tatra nimittam nama utpatti matra karanam. So nimitta karanam is actually the cause of origin alone. And there also the origin is as a different person. The material cause is not nimittam. The nimittam is the person who creates the pot, the potter, whereas the material there is clay only. So that the role of the potter is called nimitta karanam, which is called intelligent cause or efficient cause in English. Then the other karanam is upadana karanam. Upadanam tu utpatti sthiti laya karanam. So in the case of upadanam, the cause will be the utpatti karanam. That is, the clay is the material cause of the pot. And as long as the pot is existing as a pot, then clay has to be there, because without the support of clay, the pot cannot exist by itself. So in the case of during the time of sthiti, that is the sustenance, clay is required. And then when the pot destroys or gets destroyed, it merges in clay alone. So there is no question of the clay being absent at any time. Whereas the pot alone, before creation, the pot name form was not there. And after destruction also, the pot name form will not be there. But clay will continue in all the three states. That's the idea. So upadana karanam is material cause. It is sishti sthiti laya karanam. Whereas the nimitta karanam, the potter will be required only for making the pot. And after he has sold it to someone, the potter's role is no longer there. He is not going to be there to protect the pot or sustain the pot. And even after the pot is broken, it doesn't get merged in the potter. So that is the idea. That is the difference between the two causes. Atra Vedantaihi, Tatra Vedantaihi, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat Ityadibihi, Prapanchasya Upadanam Ajnanam Patyate, Chakarat Brahmapi. So in the Shvetashatra Upanishad, there is the statement, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. So what it says is that Brahman is the cause of the world only through Maya. So when the Maya Shakti is there, that Brahman is called Ishvara, Maheshwara. Otherwise, Brahman is Nirguna, Nishkriya. There is no question of Brahman being part of this creation at all. So in order to make Brahman the part of creation, the Shruti is positing the Maya Shakti as a Shakti of Ishvara, of Brahman, which is called only after the Shakti is there for Brahman, that Brahman is called Ishvara, Jagat Karanam. So Ityadibihi, Prapanchasya Upadanam Ajnanam Patyate. So in this Shruti, the Maya, the word Maya, Prakriti and all that are synonyms to the another word Ajnanam. Ajnanam, Avidya, Mula Prakriti, Maya, all these are synonyms. So Ajnanam is one of the material causes for the world, Upadana Karanam. Chakarat Brahmapi. So in the shloka, Ajnanam Chaiva, Ajnanam Cha Eva Vedantaihi. The Chakara indicates, according to the commentator, Brahman. So Brahman is also Upadana Karanam. So we had we have already covered this, but still, yet with the view to reiterate that and revise that, we can go over the topic now also. The two Upadana Karanams are accepted in Advaita Vedanta for the world. One is Maya or Prakriti or Ajnanam, and another is Brahman. That is Nirguna Brahman. It is not Saguna Brahman. So the Maya or Prakriti is called Parinami Upadana Karanam, and Brahman is called Vivarta Upadana Karanam. So Parinami Upadana Karanam is in this sense that the Mula Prakriti is the one which is the basic Shakti, and from that arises Ahankara, Pancha Tanmatras, that is the Sukshma Panchabhutas, and then the Stula Bhutas from there, and then Virat, Hiranyagarbha, all of them appear, and through that the whole Stula Prapancha comes into being. So there is a process involved. So from Mula Prakriti to Stula Prapancha, there is a process involved. So that is why the Maya is called Parinami Upadana Karanam. So the Maya Mula Prakriti transforms into the world through a process. Then Brahman is called the Vivarta Upadana Karanam. That is, Brahman alone is seen as a Jagat. So Brahman alone is wrongly seen as a Jagat because of Maya. So the person who sees the world is actually seeing Brahman alone, but then without knowing that it is Brahman, he is seeing the variegated world which has been created by Maya. So here the analogy is of the rope snake. So a person should be ideally seeing the rope only there in the that is what is present before him. But then because of some defects, he thinks he is seeing a snake there. So that is the idea here also. So Vivarta means for Vivarta, the example given is of rope snake or shell silver and all that. So Brahman is the Nirguna Brahman is the Vivarta Upadana Karanam, whereas Maya is the Parinami Upadana Karanam for the Jagat. So then Atra Ayam Bhavaha. Na kevalam brahmaiva jagat karanam nivikaratvat, nati kevalam ajnanam jadatvat. So here, these two causes are required. For that, reasoning is given. Na kevalam brahmaiva jagat karanam. Brahman alone, Nirguna Brahman alone cannot be the jagat karanam because it is nirvikari. It is nishkriya, nirvikari. It doesn't have sankalpa and anything. So Brahman alone by itself cannot be cannot cause anything. That's why even in the Gita, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Then Mama Yonir Mahat Brahma, where that word Brahma is refers to Maya. Mama Yonihi Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. So Krishna says that this Prakriti is essential for creation. Without Prakriti, simply just Maya, Brahman alone cannot create at all. So here the Acharya says, Na kevalam brahmaiva jagat karanam. Brahman cannot be the cause of the world by itself, because nirvikaratvat. Nati kevalam ajnanam jadatvat. Ajnanam or Maya or Mula Prakriti also cannot be the sole create a sole cause for creation, material cause for creation, because it is jada. So it has to unite with Brahman to bring out the world, and also Brahman has to unite with Prakriti in order to bring out the world. That is the Prakriya here. Tasmat Ubayam Militvaiva Jagat Karanam Bhavati iti. So both Prakriti and Brahman come together to become the Jagat Karanam. And here he is now quoting a Taittiriya Aranyaka mantra, where he is taking this portion, Satyandrite Mithuni Karoti Ityadi Shrutehe. So here he is very in a kind of very cleverly, he is bringing that that mantra. Actually, that mantra is not doing anything with creation and all that. It is not about Maya, it is not about Brahman at all. But just the words are there. There the context is something different. It is some dhanam and all that. There is a prohibition for dhanam, and there is also a injunction for dhanam. So when there is a prohibition for dhanam and both injunction for dhanam, these two are opposite. So how can a person proceed? So there the reply given is that he has to mix both the prohibition and this injunction in such a way that he is giving some dhanam. So the context is different. But here he is taking these two words, Satya and Anrita. Anrita there in that mantra context is prohibition. Satya is the injunction. So Satyandrite Mithuni Karoti. One mixes or one brings together Satya and Anrita, that is Satya and Mithya, to carry out some function there. So in the same way here also, Satyam is Brahman, Mithya is Maya. So Brahman and Maya have to come together to produce this world. But then this very interestingly, this Satyandrite Mithuni Karoti, this word, this expression is part of the Adhyasa Bhashya. Satyandrite Mithuni Kritya. Ahamidam Mamedam iti Naisargikoyam Loka Vyavaharaha. That's said in the Adhyasa Bhashya, where he first proves that, first he makes a statement that Satya and Anrita, that is Brahman and Prakriti, or the Satyam and Anrita, that is Brahman and Prakriti, Atma and Anatma, they are so different from each other, they cannot come together at all. There can't be a mix-up at all of both. They are like darkness and light, sun and darkness. So it is of that nature. Samaprakasha Viruddha Swabhavayoh. They are of opposite nature. Where while one is tamas, the other is prakasha. So in such a case, they can't come together at all logically. But then still, they come together in such a way that there is an error. Only when in an erroneous situation, these two can get mixed up. So here also, normally a rope can never become a snake, but then due to error, a person can perceive the rope as a snake. So here also, Atma and Anatma can never come together, or they can never get mixed up. But then due to error, due to aviveka, a person takes the Anatma to be his own characteristics or attributes and all that, and gets identified with the Anatma, that is the Prakriti. That is the products of Prakriti, like body, mind, complex and all that. And this at the same time, he's mixing the Atma with Prakriti, in the sense he is taking the Atma to be Anatma and Anatma to be Atma. The Atmas, the characteristics of the Atma, like Satya, Chitta, Ananda, he is superimposing on the Prakriti, which does not have Satya, Chitta, Ananda, which is actually Asat, and which is actually Jada, and it is actually the Dukkha. Whereas he thinks that this Atman's, he without knowing, without the Viveka, that this is different and that is different, he is mixing the both of them. That also without knowing, he is mixing up. So, and ends up being a samsara. So that's what the Adhyasa Bhashya there says. So here the Acharya says, Satyandrite Mithuni Karoti Ityadi Shrutehe. That Shruti is actually Taittiriya Aranyaka. So here that Shruti is not about Vedanta. So, but he is taking only these two words just to show that Brahman, which is Satyam, and Prakriti, which is Mithya, they have to come together to produce the world. Tatra Drishtantaha. So he is giving an example. Pandasya Gatakarakadehe Mridiva Mritpindam Iva. So in the shloka itself, it is given Mrit Bandasya Iva. Just like the clay is the cause of the pot, in the same way, Brahman and Maya, of course, put together are the cause of the world. So here the Acharya says, Tatra Drishtantaha. Bandasya, Bandam is a vessel. Gatakarakadehe. Gata is a pot. Karaka is the kamandalo and all that. For them, for these products, clay is the material cause. Mritpindamiva. Jalasthane avarakatva samyat. So he is giving a very pithy implied statement, making a statement. We have to gather the meaning of it. So Jalasthanam is actually a water body, like it can be a well, it can be a pond, it can be a lake. These are all natural water bodies, whereas due to some formation, growth, you can see that green growth is there. It's called pachi. It is called shaivala in Sanskrit. So in different languages, different words are there. So there is a green covering on the water. So it is possible that a person does not know that the water is there, or a person can think that there is a lot of water is there, a lot of deep water is there, but then there is a covering like this. So if a person wants to use the water or drink the water, he will have to clear the covering there. So it is called moss. It's actually a growth, algae growth. So that he has to clear it and then take the water. So here the Acharya says, Jalasthane avarakatva sambhava samyat. So just like the water is covered by this moss growth, and it is enveloped, the water, the presence of the water is covered here. The same way, the presence of Brahman is covered or enveloped by this world idea. Tatra Brahmano avinashitvat brahmajnanena tasmin ajnane eva nashte sati Vishwata Jiva Jagadishwaratmaka Jagadbhavaha Kwa na Kwapi Tirthaha. So here he concludes this discussion here. That's why Brahmano Avinashitvad. Brahmajnanena Tasmin Ajnane Eva Nashte Sati. So Brahman is Avinashi. Brahman will never get destroyed on the basis of, we can think of this sloka, Nasuto Vidyate Bhavo, Na Bhavo Vidyate Sataha of the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 16th sloka. So there it has been very clearly laid out that Brahman, that is the Sat, will never go out of existence, whereas the Asat can never have existence. So these two have been very clearly stated there. So here also the Acharya says, Brahmanaha avinashitvat brahmajnanena tasmin ajnane eva nashte sati. So when that ajnana is gone by virtue of this brahmajnana, then what happens is Vishwata, that is the Vishwa, for the world to exist, Ajnana has to be there. Ajnana is the Mula Karanam for the world. So when the Mula Karanam itself has been removed and annulled, negated, sublated, then there can't be world at all. So Kva Vishwata, Jiva Jagadishwaratmaka Jagat Bhavaha. So Vishwata, for Vishwata in the sloka, it has been given Vishwata. The Acharya didn't say Vishwam. He says the Vishwamhood, the worldness. So the worldness is a concept. The world is an object. A world is a physical object. But then the idea is here that there's actually no physical world at all, but only the concept of worldness is there. So that is what is tormenting a person into samsara, or that is what is deluding a person. So he says here, when Ajnana is gone, Vishwata, that the worldness itself is not there. So what is the word characteristic of this worldness? Jiva, Jagat, Yeshwaratmaka, Jagat Bhavaha. So Jagat is constituted of Jiva, Jiva, Jagat, Vishwam is constituted of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Jagat is the Jada part of it. Jiva is the Chaitanya part of it. But then Chaitanyam part, actually Chaitanya, really Chaitanyam. But then the Jiva is mixed up with the Anatma, which is Jada. So Jiva, Jada mix is Jiva. Chaitanyam and Jada mix is Jiva. Then Jagat is the physical object there. And then Ishvara is the mixture of Nirguna Brahman and Maya or Prakriti. So here, so these three together form the Vishwam. So the idea of a Jiva, the notion of being a Jiva, the notion of there being a Ishvara, and the notion of there being a Jagat, all three constitute to become Vishwam. So Vishwata na bhavati, because that Vishwata cannot be there when the Ajnanam is gone. So that is the message of this shloka. So we will now get into the next shloka, that is 95. Yatha rajjum parityajya sarpam grinhati vai brahmat tadvat satyam abhignaya jagat pashyati mudadihi. So just like a person rejecting, not knowingly, unknowingly rejecting the rope there, and he takes the snake there. That is, you can imagine even a case of a rope really being there, but then he thinks that actually a snake being there, but he thinks that it's a rope and he takes it, and the danger can be imagined. Here, the Asura says, Rajjum Parityajya Sarpam Grihnati Vibhramat. He rejects the rope there, and he notionally takes the snake. That is, he thinks that snake is what is there. Tadvat Satyam Avijnaya Jagat Pashyati Modadehi. In the same way, without knowing the Satyam Brahman, or without recognizing or without perceiving the Satyam Brahman, a person takes the world to be there. So actually here what has happened is, there is an Avarana and Vikshepa. So the Avarana Shakti has enveloped his intellect into and thinking that the world is, Brahman is not there. The Vikshepa Shakti has succeeded in projecting the world there, so which is not there. So what is there is enveloped, what is not there is projected. So this enveloping function is of the Vikshepa Shakti, the Avarana Shakti of Maya or Avidya or Ajnanam, and the projecting Shakti is the Vikshepa Shakti of Maya or Ajnanam or Avidya. So here, Tadvate Satyam Avignaya Jagat Pashyati Modhadihi. So for this, the commentary is Mithuni Bhavasyaiva Jagat Karanatvam Sadrushtantam Prapanchayati. That is, Mithuni Bhavam is coming together, uniting of what? Of the Satyam Brahma and the Asatyam or Mithya, Mula Prakriti or Maya. So these two have come together to make the world. So Mithuni Bhavasyaiva Jagat Karanatvam Sadrushtantam Prapanchayati Yatha Rajjumiti. So in this case, the what is there actually is Brahman, but what is not there is the world. In the example, what there is actually this rope, whereas what is not there is a snake. So in that way, the appearance of the world is because of Maya, whereas the Adhishtanam or the support on which this appearance happens is Brahman. So instead of seeing or perceiving the substratum, a person is carried away by the superimposed world. So Mithuni Bhavasyaiva Jagat Karanatvam Sadrushtantam Prapanchayati. So this is the Drishtantam in the shloka. Then the next shloka is Rajyarupe Parignyate Sarpa Bhrantir na Tishtati Adhishtane Tatha Jnate Prapanchaha Shunyatam Rajet. So here, Rajyarupe, so continuing from the previous shloka, Rajyarupe Parignyate, when a person clearly knows, that is after the Brahma has arisen, and when someone has pointed out that there is no snake there, it's actually a rope only. So he gets the knowledge of the rope. He either himself examines and sees the rope, which is so nice, or he believes in a person who is an apta. That is, he considers him a person who will not lie or cheat. So when such a person is saying, he will believe that. So this is also possible. Supposing the Brahmasthala is little bit somewhat away from where he stands, and someone from the other end says that there's actually a rope here, no snake at all. So then also he will believe. He doesn't have to go and examine all that. So in any case, he gets the right knowledge of what is there in front of him. Rajyarupe Parignyate Sarpa Bhrantihi na Tishtati. So the moment he comes to know that it is only a rope, that very moment the error or the adhyasa of the snake goes away. It doesn't stay any longer at all there. So in the same way, Adhishtane Tatha Jnate Prapanchaha Shunyatam Rajed. So when the Adhishtanam of the Prapancha of the world, or the Jagat Jiva Ishvara Bhava, that is the Vishwam, the Adhishtanam of the Vishwam, when is known to be Brahman, then the Vishwata or the Jagat becomes no longer existent. It becomes non-existent there in all the three periods of time. So in the case of the rope snake also, when he comes to know that there is one rope alone, he also comes to know that the snake was not there before in that locus. Snake could have been in some other place, like zoo or park, the snake can be there. That is not the question here. So in the locus, that is the rope here, the snake did not exist before. And during the time he believed that there is a snake only, then also the snake didn't remain there or exist there. After he has come to know that there is a rope, then also in future also the rope, a snake cannot be there in that locus. So in the same way, the Jagat also will be known to be not there, non-existent in the locus, that is Brahman, in all the three periods of time. That's the idea here. Adhisthane tata jnate prapanchaha shunyatam brajet. Shunyata means non-existence. It is known to be non-existent in all the three periods of time. So here the Acharya gives a commentary, 97th sloka, 96th sloka. Idani yaduktam tasmin nashte kva vishvata iti tate prapanchayanne purvoktam prarabdha abhavam sadrishtantam upasamhariti sardhena rajurupe iti spashtam. Okay, so here in the 94th sloka, padanam prapanchasya vridbhandasya katyate ajnanam cheva vedantai tasmin nashte kva vishvata. When ajnanam is gone, where can be the world idea concept that they be there at all? So that statement was made, that is being demonstrated here. Idanim yaduktam tasmin nashte kva vishvata iti tate prapanchayan means it is being elucidated. Purvoktam prarabdha abhavam sadrishtantam upasamharati sardhena. So that prarabdha cannot be there at all when the world itself is not there, and the cause of the world, that is ajnanam, has gone. World cannot be there. So jiva cannot be there. Jiva food, that is the jiva bhava, cannot be there. Prarabdha also cannot be there. So that is the idea. Because the jiva will be known to be jiva food, or jivatvam will be known to be mithya in all the three periods of time. So when I have never been a jiva at all, how could I have performed any karma at all? So when jiva is not there, karma is not there. When karma is not there, the prarabdha karma also is not there. So that is the idea. So only when some karma has been performed, the fruit of the karma will come in at some time. So it will, the moment it gives the fruit, it becomes prarabdha. So before giving the fruit, the karma remains as adrishta only. It cannot be giving any effect at all. But the moment it starts giving effect, it becomes prarabdha. Sanchita karma becomes prarabdha karma. So when sanchita karma itself has not been accumulated, because I have never been a jiva at all before, I have never been any doer at all, karta at all, no karma has taken place through me at all before. How can there be prarabdha karma for me now? So that is for that, conveying that this rope snake example was given to convey that the world is not there. Since the world is not there, there can't be jiva, there can't be prarabdha also. There can't be karma and there can't be prarabdha. So idanim yaduktam sasmin nashte kva vishvata iti tate prapanchayan purvoktam prarabdha abhavam sadrishtantam upasamharati. The abhava of prarabdha, that is, prarabdha cannot be there at all in all three periods of time, because karma cannot be there and jiva also cannot be there. So in next shloka, dekasyapi prapanchatvat prarabdha avastitihi kutaha ajnani jana bodhartam prarabdham bhaktivai shrutihi. So here the shloka now makes a very clear statement that why this prarabdha is being spoken of in the Shastra, what is the purpose of it, but what is the reality. So dekasyapi prapanchatvat, the body is also a part of prapancam only, of the world only. Prapanchatvat, prarabdha avastitihi kutaha. That is, when the prapancha is not there, there can't be prarabdha at all. And when the prapancha is not there, there can't be body at all. When the body is not there, prarabdha also cannot be there at all. So that's what is stated in the first line. Ajnani jana bodhartam prarabdham bhaktivai shrutihi. But then why does the Shastra talk about prarabdha at all? For that, the Acharya says, Ajnani jana bodhartam. For a person who is still in the throes of ignorance, he has some questions. See, the question will be like this. Okay, I accept that there is a possibility for a person to become enlightened. But then after enlightenment, we see the enlightened person alive. He is also doing some or the other work. He is also doing, he is also enjoying something, or he is also undergoing some misery like disease or apamana, mana apamana and all that. So these things happen for a jnani also. So how can you say that prarabdha is not there? How can you account for these things unless you account for some force which is making all this happen? So for that, as a reply to that, the Shruti talks about prarabdha. That's what he says. There is a big commentary for this. We will take it up in the next class. We will end this session here. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshkaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham Aparokṣānubhūti-Class-36.Sl.96-97 सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः शास्त्रं शारीरमीमांसा देवस्तु परमेश्वरः आचार्य शंकराचार्य सन्तु मे जन्म जन्मनि विद्याविनय संपन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदांत तत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखर भारती। ओम तत्सत्।